Hi, Asad here with Nested Knowledge. In this video, I'm going to go over the mechanics of tagging. Now that we've talked about how to construct a tagging hierarchy, I'm going to walk through with you on how to best tag a physical article using the hierarchy that you've created. So, if we navigate here to our home page and go to AutoLit, I find it helpful as somebody who's been working with the software for a long time to actually have your tagging hierarchy in one window and then have the article that you'd like to tag in a second. That way you can jump back and forth, look at your tags, and figure out logically what's the next piece of information you'd like to tag. So here, once we are at our AutoLit page, I'm going to go ahead and open up our COVID RCT nest. This is just slightly different, but it's a nest also on randomized controlled trials for COVID, and thankfully it actually has an article that we can tag. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my tagging hierarchy here. Now again, you can just, as a brief overview of the hierarchy, we can see here that we have root nodes that include our study type, the patient characteristics, the interventions, time points, and outcomes. Of course, you can create more tags and more nodes as you see fit. So in order to tag, I'm going to show the first example here for the study type. So under the study type, we're looking at specific randomized controlled trials for COVID-19. Among randomized controlled trials, we have the option between an open-label study, a double-blinded study, and a single-blinded study. So I'm going to go back to the article, the first article that we're going to tag, and we're going to figure out whether it's one of those three options. So I've got our article here, the first article that we'll tag, and I've actually created some of these tags for you already. So here we can actually see in the title of the article, this monoclonal antibody, ruxolitinib, was used in the treatment of severe COVID. It was a multi-center, single-blind, randomized controlled trial. So we know just by the title alone that we're dealing with a single-blinded randomized controlled trial. In order to create a tag for that, I'm going to go ahead and copy the relevant text that we need. So we know from the title that this monoclonal antibody was used in the treatment, and we know that it's single-blind. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that text and paste it here in our text box. We can go ahead and format it as you see fit. Here, we have a drop-down menu of all the tags that you've created based on the hierarchy. So I know that I created a tag for single blind. I can click that and add that tag in. So here you can see we've tagged this study as a single-blinded study, and we have the relevant text to back that up. We know where we got that information from for that tag. Next, let's go back to our tagging hierarchy here. We can see that we have patient characteristics as one of our next root nodes. So we have comorbidities for these specific patients that came in with COVID-19. Some of these comorbidities include hypertension, diabetes, cardiac disease, or cerebrovascular disease. So let's go back in our article and see where we can find, if at all, statistics for the comorbidities of these patients who came in with COVID-19. I find it helpful to start by looking at the tables. The tables will summarize a lot of that information for you, so rather than sifting through a bunch of text, you can jump right here to table number 1. And in table 1 here, we have the demographic and clinical characteristics of patients at baseline. And sure enough, we can see that the authors chose to include comorbidities, being hypertension, diabetes, and coronary artery disease. So we know here that hypertension is for sure one of those comorbidities. Rather than copying in all of this text and these numbers, I can just indicate what table it was found under. So we know that it was found in table 1. This is what's called a table tag. So you can go ahead again from your list of drop-down options and choose hypertension as your tag, and we know that the statistics for hypertension for patients at baseline was found in table 1, and you can go ahead and add that tag. So that's pretty much all there is to the mechanics of tagging. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to let us know. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video where I'll go over the last and final step of the AutoLit process, which is the data extraction. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.